Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the live show we do every morning at 10:30 Eastern Time. Give my official picks. Marty Ice is back in the building, behind the camera as always. And today is Tuesday, September 12th. And of course, you know, in case there were still some doubters out there about whether these half points matter or don't really matter. Oh, yeah. Last night, the universe once again, for the umpteenth time, showed you why they do matter. The Chargers game landed dead on the 3, so anyone who wound up taking 2.5 late on the Chargers lost, or on the Broncos minus 2.5 won. The total landed dead on 48. I talked about how I liked the under on that one at 48, at 47.5. Might not have even said I liked it, but that one landed on 48. So obviously, and this will happen all season long in college and NFL. So first of all, that shows you why it's so tough to beat these lines long-term at a high winning percentage. You know, 54, 55, 57% is doable, but anything more than that is very, very tough. And it shows you why line shopping is very important. It just showed everything last night, right, Marty Ice?
Yeah. I mean, I said this before. It's mostly that pertains to football. Mm-hmm. Basketball also, especially college. I don't know how the hell these bookmakers or odds makers get that so dead on that you can look at a game and just be like 58 points and it's fucking 58 points after what, an hour of game play, right? All the variables that can come into play.
I mean, I think the answer to that is obviously they have power rankings that are they have their algorithms that have been honed and proven over the years, and sometimes they're dead on, and of course, sometimes when they're way off, people are more likely to be impressed with how accurate the numbers are than with how off the numbers are. You know what I mean? So when you see a line that's way off, you're never like, oh my God, how are the bookmakers so off? Like, people don't say that. You know? So yeah. So you notice the ones that are dead on more often than not. But the other part of that answer is that they do use power rankings that in general are very accurate, and they've been
clearly
they've had a lot of people studying it for a lot of years, and so they know generally how to make fairly accurate numbers. And when they make fairly accurate numbers, a decent amount of the time, the numbers will land right on. Not always, though. So, all right, wondering where's all the comments here? There's usually a ton of comments. Mr. Picks God, let's go. And Loose Cunt is here. Not happy with BetDSI. Why aren't you happy with BetDSI, Loose Cunt? That's a great book, and they even have some offlines now that you can take advantage of. All right, so if there's anyone, where are all the comments?
Maybe it's a little hungover.
That might be it. Mitchell Chagas, great baseball games on today's card. Some interesting games. I'm not so sure if there's a lot that I'm seeing with value. Jansen Bonzone, James Stacy, what's up? Yesterday, of course, I gave 3 picks in MLB, 2-1, 2 very nice calls, and then I took Arizona -1. They almost came back and got it. That might have been a dumb play. Might have taken it too high, or maybe not. I thought that we would get a better start from Greinke, but still a winning day in MLB today. A lot of interesting situations. Not so sure if there's anything that I'm seeing that I'm loving. And of course, we do have a WNBA. One thing we can start with, though, is oh wow, really? James Stacy seeing a lot of good plays in baseball. Lot of plays, really? So, okay, well, hit us up. Hit us up, James Stacy, with your plays, because unless, if James Stacy comes out and says Cleveland -450, that's a little bit cheap there, James Stacy. But yeah, tell us what you're liking today, James Stacy. Hit the like button. What's up, Cal707 Bear and Mike Heap and Brooke Jordan. Good morning, Brooke Jordan. Okay.
What about fading the Dodgers? Is that a pick at this point now? I mean, what is it, 11 in a row now, and they've been favored in every single game?
Fuck it. And last night's game actually ended really late. Did they lose again?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Wow. Yeah, it's wow. Yes, the Dodgers, and this is like it's actually getting to it's embarrassing for 2 reasons. One, it's embarrassing for what's happening to the Dodgers. Second of all, it's personally embarrassing that I have had not the balls to pull the trigger on any of the games, fading them. And once again tonight, we'll talk about that game in a second.
So that's 11 in a row. Not necessarily that you didn't bet, but also there was 4 before that when they played San Diego.
Yeah, no, that one I was, exactly. It's been like,
so you could have had 15 games of easily getting that plus, that fat plus money.
And it all comes down to a matter of balls. Now, if you had told me before the start of that run, I would have said, absolutely, I should just flat bet against the Dodgers all those games. Some of the games you're going to lose, but it's just on an individual game-by-game basis, I just begged off of it. But yeah, that's why there sometimes can be value with deciding that you're going to make a certain play against or on a certain team just over a span of games, just flat betting it, so that you take that sort of like game by game hesitation out of your decision making process. But yes, it's definitely been certainly interesting. Loose.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, hey, I mean, that is essentially what started our company, is that kind of stuff. So
yes,
we have a thing that you can send that into, Zach. If you could put up the email, I don't know exactly what it is off the top of your head, but for Sportsbook complaints, we're happy to get that sorted out for you best we can, man.
Yes, Lou Skunt is saying that this is interesting. Yeah, this is another. We'll talk about this a little bit in depth, because it is one of the things that SBR does that people might not be aware of. We'll get to MLB in a second. I was going to give some college football plays. We'll get to MLB in a second. But first, Lou Skunt is saying that he is not happy right now with a bet DSI, because he's saying he hit a bet at plus 500 that they won't pay out. Lou Skunt is saying they graded as a loss. I called and they told me I lost. But I have screenshots, motherfuckers, all in caps. Now, one thing that SPR does is we do conflict resolution in between books. And with a book like a DSI is one thing that I mean, all the major books, especially DSI, though, they are not looking to scam their players out of like one play here and there misgraded. That's just not in the business of what they do for business. So if they are in the wrong here, they will absolutely be happy to fix it. And SBR does free conflict resolution for exactly stuff like this. I mean, oftentimes it's for much bigger deals than this, like when there are actual scam books that stiff people and stuff like that.
Yes, but this kind of stuff happens too.
And
thank you. Okay, good, Lou.
Yes. So the point is that how do you do it? You go to SBR, or where do you go?
So that's sportsbookreview.com, right? So that's pretty easy to remember. And on the right-hand side, there is a conflict resolution, or submit a complaint for a sports book.
Yes.
I know we rearranged that homepage, so it's visually not in my brain right now.
Right.
But
and the amount of money that SBR charges for that service is $0.00, completely free. So very nice. And look, there's problems all the time at one of the books that I play out. I'm not going to name them because they're a decent book, but I have noted, not DSI, I have noticed that they have some grading issues, especially on these MLB first half and second halves. Kind of annoying, because I do have to wind up checking my bets. You do have to check your bets, and I get like a misgraded wager, I would say, every about 2 weeks with this book. It is pretty annoying, but I report it, and they always fix it. So yeah, that does kind of suck. It's definitely something that is annoying. So I hear you. I feel your pain, Lou Skunt. But DSI is definitely not the kind of book that is looking to do anything shady at all. So yeah. Okay, so let's get to it. All right. Yes, Daryl Lyle saying, "Hey Pete, I see you wearing the Intertops tee." I asked about Lyle. A little sarcastic comment there from Daryl Lyle. Yeah, can we get Daryl Lyle's a goddamn Intertops T-shirt? Is this so hard? Is this so hard? Difficult to request?
I don't know. I don't work for Intertops.
And Marty guys is like, I don't know. Doesn't sound that hard.
Intertops T-shirt? No.
Not my job. Not my job. Doesn't sound hard. I don't know whose job it is, but that person probably will be able to do it. Yes, we will get you. We will get you an Intertops T-shirt if it's the last damn thing I do. Daryl Lyles. I have 2 goals for this week. 1, handicap all the college football games completely. 2, get Daryl Lyles a goddamn Intertops T-shirt. Jesus Christ, how fucking hard is this? All right, so. Yeah, so Lou Skunt, and one other thing is that
also, before you get off that, Intertops is our sponsor. LOSHAKFIRST, LOSHAKRELOAD.
Yes,
you can go check those out. Those promos, I'll put them in the description.
Bonuses,
if I haven't already.
Yeah, I mean, misgradings happen at all books. Yeah. Some of them,
especially week 1. I mean, again, no specifics needed, but there was a few big boys out there who were having some issues week 1. Sunday just got blown up.
Yep.
Whether it be server issues or whatever is in the back end, if they're computer programming stuff, it's just shit happens, man. Yeah,
shit happens. And let's be honest, a lot of the people who are operating these places aren't, freaking Einsteins, okay? You don't have Niels Bohr behind the
people like us.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if we were a little bit sharper, we'd be doing something else. I'm kidding. No, it's just totally par for the course. Definitely annoying though, because there are some books that like for instance Pinnacle, and we can say Pinnacle. Pinnacle is a professional, but they never have grading issues. I mean, they do. Even Pinnacle, they have sometimes they'll post up bad lines. They do make mistakes, but they fix it. They catch it themselves very quickly, and other places don't have as many resources. So I understand it is annoying.
Because some of this, like you said, they don't have as many resources, but they go for it.
Yes,
like they have
yes.
everything.
Yes.
So,
Michael Maeda says, remind everyone to click that like so people can keep the show going. Thank you so much, Michael Maeda. Yes, because, you know, one drop in the ratings still fire me like that. So I'll be gone in a second. So if you want to see the show going on for more than, you know, a couple of weeks, please click like. It takes no effort on your part. All right, let's get to the picks.
Yes, for every 10 likes, we can afford a new fake mustache.
Yes.
They don't last forever, people.
All right, so college football. Now, last week, college football was, God, you know, I got to have more balls in college football as well. And I'm gonna tear Brent from Bet DSI a new one this Saturday, because Brent told us that the Sharps came in on the under again in the Tulsa game, and once again I liked it. But this time I was like, the second week in a row they're coming in, and I was like, they can't be wrong 2 weeks in a row. But I liked it, so I bet it and picked it and didn't tell anyone. But you know, these college football line moves, I'm not exactly sure. If I what's causing them, if I agree with them at all, but I'm going to start having more balls in college football, because I think I have a pretty good read on it. My record overall so far, giving picks out publicly, is profitable this year, and in my accounts it's been great. So the first one I'm going to start things off with right away, I do like the under 58.5 in Northern Illinois, Nebraska. I'm seeing at Pinnacle right now -107, so I'll give that one as an official pick. Under 58.5, -107, Northern Illinois, Nebraska. Obviously, Nebraska has played two very, very high-scoring games, but you know, they're trying to establish a better defensive identity, and I think they might be able to do it here against Northern Illinois. Nebraska could absolutely steamroll Northern Illinois offensively, but I'm not sure that they're you know, motivated to do that. Very similar to one of my totals plays that I gave in the Saturday morning show, which was the Wisconsin FAU under, which cashed easily and went actually exactly as I said. It stalled out in the fourth quarter. So that's a play that I'm liking, and I bet it and I picked it, and I'm definitely going to give it under 58.5, Northern Illinois, Nebraska. Another play that I'm thinking about and I think I'm liking is UAB at home against Coastal Carolina. UAB actually played Ball State pretty well last week. Coastal Carolina is the favorite here, which probably has something to do with the fact that they didn't play last week, but I think I'm a believer in UAB here, and I like them at +2 and probably on the money line as well. But I will give that one out. Slight chance that I'll take that one back by the end of the week, which is okay, because that's part of
takebacks.
What?
No takebacks.
No. You just bet the other side. So if you get a better line, you might have a middle, or if you have a worse line, you might get risk taking middle. But no, you can bet the other side. Yeah, right. No takebacks in gambling. Yeah. So UAB +2 -108 at Pinnacle. That's a second play I'm going to give. UAB +2 -108. That's a second college football pick I'm going to give. And what else was I looking at? The Florida-Tennessee game is very interesting. I don't know. People can chime in on that one. My thinking is that Florida rolls. I think Florida rolls in this one. I think Florida probably wins. I think Florida is probably a good bet. Anything under 7. Tennessee is definitely a team that I like to bet against when expectations are high and bet on when expectations are lower, as they are this year. But to my eye, Florida looks like they, you know, are probably you know, in a better spot right now for a win here. And I was also leaning the over in that one at 49. As we know, Florida has been trying to find some kind of offensive, improved offense from years past, and you know, I think they might have the pieces to get it done, you know, in this game. And so I'm also leaning on the over on that one. I'm going to hold off on giving those as a pick right now, but I might give them at any point by Friday or on Saturday morning. But I'm definitely leaning Florida. Tennessee over, and I think I'll just stick with the 2 picks that I've given so far. I have a whole bunch of other games that I want to get to today, break down in depth, and decide what I want to do with them. But for now, those are 2 plays I'm going to give. Northern Illinois under 58.5 and UAB +2. That's that for now. Let's quickly talk about the WNBA. There's some interesting stuff in WNBA tonight. Of course, it's the playoffs. You know, Minnesota and LA are the elite teams in the WNBA, and the spreads. The spreads scare me, because both of the big underdogs could easily hang close. I think they probably will. Probably the underdogs are better bets than the favorites, but LA and Minnesota are both very, very capable of double-digit wins. Of course, LA was a great bet on the year overall in the year. I think they were 22-12 ATS and like covered their last 6 or 7 in a row, repeatedly getting double-digit wins. So the Sparks -9 makes me nervous. Probably if I had to identify a best bet out of these 2 games with 4 bet sides and totals, I'd probably take a shot with the over 159 in Washington and Minnesota. A little bit risky to do that in playoff games, and Minnesota can be great defensively, but Washington had a great offensive game in their last game, and I would lean over 159. Then the LA and Phoenix game is very interesting because LA, of course, is a big under-trender at home on the year, and in general, a very, very big under-trender, super strong under-trender, and they were also a great bet ATS overall. But Phoenix is playing great right now, and Brittany Griner is really, really stepping it up. She was injured, of course, part of the year, struggled a little bit, played reduced minutes, but now you know Brittany Griner, right, Marty Ice?
Not personally,
no,
but yes,
she's a beast of a human being, and I mean that in only the best ways.
In
right?
the sexiest way.
She's a beast of a human being, and I mean that as a compliment, Brittany Griner. Yeah, she's playing well. You know what I mean?
She's fantastic. I mean, look, she's always been good. I was surprised to see her go down with the injury for as long as she did. But
yes. So that's why Phoenix, and Phoenix is really scrapping right now. So I would probably lean Phoenix getting 9 points. Although again, it's just tough to bet against LA because LA is legitimately elite, and they were undervalued. They were a great bet overall on the year. Closed the regular season out with like 6 or 7 straight dominant covers, and just an excellent team. So, but I'd have to be leaning Phoenix there. Have a slight lean to the under because of how LA plays, and a lean to the over in Washington, Minnesota. And as far as the Washington-Minnesota spread, that is, I couldn't even have a lean on that one because Minnesota, if you guys remember, is one of those teams that at times would actually get beat as a huge favorite, and then the next game as a huge favorite, literally win by like 40 or 50 points. So Minnesota is a very, very Jekyll and Hyde elite team. Most Jekyll and Hyde teams tend to be like mid-range teams. Minnesota is actually an elite Jekyll and Hyde team. Do you remember what happened at Marty Ice? They were a 15-point favorite against one of the worst teams in WNBA. They lost outright. Then they came back the next time they met, and they doubled their score. They literally won like 111-52 or something like that. Ridiculous.
I haven't watched the WNBA game in 12 years.
Yeah, these women do not fuck around. If you cross the Minnesota Lynx, they will come back and cut you, proverbially and metaphorically. And so the spread on that one could go any which way. I do kind of like the over, though, at 159. And the Phoenix-LA game, really, really tough. I would lean Phoenix at +9, and I would have a slight lean to the under at 157.5. I think my top play for WNBA, though, would be the over 159 in Washington, Minnesota. All right, so let's see. All right, so let's go to MLB. Now, who was it? James Stacy saying a lot of MLB games that he's liking. I wasn't seeing. First, we'll get to the plays that I was thinking about, and then we'll get to what James Stacy recommends here. Obviously, the most interesting, the first game that jumps out at you is Cleveland with Corey Kluber. They've won, what have they won, like 19, 20 in a row? And they're like a team version right now of Clayton Kershaw when he was on his game. I actually do think they probably have a little bit of value with Corey Kluber at -400 because he is so dominant and so reliable, right? Oh, Matty Ice making a face?
I'm making a face.
Really?
I'm making a face.
You're making a face?
-400? How can you put value in -400
because
together?
Corey, in order to have value at -400, all you have to do is be an 80% or greater chance of winning. Corey Kluber is so reliable, like day in and day out. Lights out. Now, obviously, he could get injured in like the first inning. But even then, Cleveland has a great bullpen, you know. On the other side, Boyd is starting, and Boyd is a tricky guy because he was great in the minors, just an absolute star in the minors, but has repeatedly, for a long period of time, not been able to get it done in the majors. He is looking very vulnerable. Yesterday, I had a winner with Cleveland, except I took the Detroit team total under on the first 5 innings. Cashed easily. It was 1.5. They didn't score anything. Today, the Detroit first 5 innings team total is 1. But you could easily win that one with Kluber throwing shutout innings, which is 5 shutout innings, which could easily happen. Cleveland or Cleveland -1, I actually think might have some value. I don't know if I'm going to give that one as a pick, but it's certainly worth noting. And Cleveland is just absolutely dominant. Corey Kluber, absolutely dominant. Just a massive, massive edge there. Then we have the next Dodgers and San Francisco game, which is Kershaw against Cueto. It's an interesting one because Kershaw, of course, got hit in his last start. Now, he's had a bunch of bad starts this year, and he has always bounced back with a dominant start the next time out. That doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen here because Kershaw, of course, as we know, went on the DL recently with back issues, and those back issues can linger. Yes.
Those are back issues are career issues.
Yes.
Scottie Pippen.
Yes.
That's a different sport, obviously, but you got guys all over the place. Ken Griffey Jr., they linger.
They do. They absolutely do. And when you're a starting pitcher like Kershaw, where, you know, I mean, as superhuman as Kershaw is, still, you know, if his mechanics are a little bit off, all of a sudden he becomes just like this 6'9" guy who's tossing meatballs instead of you know, sliders that are on the paint. You know what I mean?
That tall, is he?
What? Kershaw? I think he is, or 6'6", or he's really tall. No, he's not 6'9", but I think he's 6, or maybe not. What am I saying? Yeah, I think he's tall though. He's
5'7".
No, he's 6'4", or something like that. I'm like a little kid who's like, Clayton Kershaw, how tall is he? 8 feet. He's a superhero giant.
Oh, good. Brick City Matthew got his T-shirt in the mail yesterday. Wearing it already. Awesome.
Excellent. Great.
Tweet us a picture of it, man. We'd like to see it. Good news.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so yeah, I would have to say once again, I would have to say that the value is fading the Dodgers here, or maybe with the over. Cueto has been decent since coming off the DL, so you know, San Francisco in the plus 230s probably has some value, and maybe a shot with the over at just 6.5, which I believe it was 6.5 on the overnight. I believe that it still is. Yeah, 6.5. The big question mark, obviously, in this game, what are you going to get from Kershaw? He's had bad starts this year. Again, bounce back every single time does not at all necessarily mean that that's going to happen here. So that's an interesting game for sure. The one game that I did bet on the overnight that I think I am liking is the under in Cincinnati, St. Louis. Now that one is obviously a little bit iffy because of the starting pitchers. Stevenson and Lynn have both been pretty good, but you know, Stevenson has been having control issues, great strikeout numbers, but has some serious control issues that he has been able to pitch around so far in the majors, but they might come back to bite him at some point. And Lance Lynn has been very good, very solid, but not with great peripherals. You know, so he could be due for a little bit of regression upcoming, but still, it's kind of a high total, and I kind of like the under in that one. I did bet it on the overnight line at 8.5, and right now it is, yeah, it's 8.5. I was hoping I would be able to get 9, but I can't. But I will give that one, start things off with that, an official pick under 8.5. Best line on the line shopping here is 2 places, Intertops and the Greek, 8.5 minus 115. The Greek has under 8.5 minus 115, and Intertops, that's line on the board, 8.5 minus 115. Pinnacle has 116, and a few other places have 8 at plus money. So I'm going to give that one, start things off with that one as an official pick. You know, I don't love it, but I think it's okay. Then the other game that is definitely interesting to me is San Diego and Minnesota. Wood is starting for San Diego, and this guy is just like this guy doesn't have it right now in the majors. He is looking like he's going to be very, very vulnerable here. Minnesota, as we know, has a lineup that is productive. Now on the other side, there's Kyle Gibson, who has weirdly. Kyle Gibson was a borderline auto fade for most of the year and for a lot of his career, actually, but weirdly, he has started to pitch better recently. His last start, he actually had no strikeouts but got great results. But the 3 starts before that, he was getting great results and also getting strikeouts. So Kyle Gibson is has weirdly experienced a little bit of a renaissance recently. I'm not prepared, though, to take Minnesota in the minus 170s. So I am looking at the good old team total overs, first 5 innings and full game. I'm assuming that Minnesota is going to be 3 here or 2.5, heavily juiced to the over, and the line is 2.5 minus 143. Yeah, 2.5 minus 143. Let me just sit on that for a second and check one thing. Yeah, 2.5 minus 143. Let me just quickly check the full game, which is 5.5 plus 112. All right, I'll give that one. Wood is just too vulnerable. He's just too vulnerable. I will give that one as another pick. Minnesota Twins, first 5 innings, team total over 2.5 minus 143. And that is almost low-hanging fruit. That is almost, I mean, Wood could have a 5-inning start. Wood could, you know, any of these starting pitchers could have a 5-inning start at any time, 2 or fewer runs. But that is a pretty strong bet. I think Minnesota, team total over 2.5, first 5 innings. And let me check one of the other lines that I'm looking at. Oh, yeah, another game that's very kind of weird to me. The Cubs have been one of the worst teams in baseball in terms of ROI at home. They've been very overvalued, as they often are. And now they're opening a series here against the Mets at home. Jose Quintana. All right, no. Did you see? Did you? I don't want you to cheat. Did you see the lines yet, Marty Ice?
No.
Okay, so the Mets are playing at the Cubs, and you know, the Cubs have, you know, been winning kind of, a little bit, but they just lost 3 in a row at home. They can't really score. Quintana's starting. He's off a good start, but before that, he was struggling. Gesellman obviously is usually struggles, but his last start was a little bit better. So you figure the Cubs are going to be a pretty healthy favorite in this game. What would you say the Cubs are with Quintana against Gesellman at home?
230.
230? All right, that's close. It's actually 290.
All right, I was going to say 270, but I thought it was a trick question.
No, I mean, I just don't quite understand why they're that big of a favorite. I'm just not seeing it at all. I kind of like the Mets.
It's the Mets.
I'm sorry?
And Gesellman. I mean, those two factors alone. You're talking about a bottom-tier team and going against a team who's playing like a bottom-tier team, but they are not.
Okay, let me get this straight, Marty Ice. You're telling me that when I say Corey Kluber and the Indians have value at minus 400, you're like, I don't know about that.
I didn't say there's value here.
When I tell you the Cubs are minus 290 against the Mets with Quintana, you're like, sure, that makes sense to me. Sure.
I didn't say it made sense, but I understand why they did it. It does. It's not horrible, but there's definitely a lot more value betting on the Mets, I think, here than betting on the Indians.
Yes, that's definitely for sure. I mean, the Mets, I'm just not quite getting it. Gesellman obviously is a guy with a high potential, has had routine problems in the majors, start in and start out. Once in a while, he has a good start, but more often than not, he struggles. But, you know, I've seen minus 300 here. So I'm thinking about the Mets and the Mets second half. The second half is plus 140. I'll think about that in a second. The Mets money line is, you know, wow, minus 255 if you want it. In a bunch of places. I'm just not quite understanding that. I'll make a decision on that one in a little bit. Then we have one other game that's caught my eye, and that is Oakland against Boston. Oakland, of course, a very interesting team. They have some nice bats in their lineup, but they have a stark home-road discrepancy. Great at home overall on the year. Terrible on the road overall on the year. I think they're pushing like minus 30% on the road. Now they travel all the way cross-country to Boston. Boston has had a solid ROI at home, plus 5% roughly. And Manaea is starting for Oakland. He, you know, has a lot of upside long-term, but he's come back down to earth recently. His last start was okay. Feels like a spot where he's going to struggle. And Erod on the other side, it's coming off a decent start. He's also struggled a little bit. So I'm thinking about overs here, and I'm definitely thinking about the Boston team total overs. Once again, that'll be 2.5. Let me just quickly check what that is. The Boston first 5 innings, team total over 2.5 minus 127, and the full game is 4. Wow. 4.5 minus 130 on the full game. All right, I'm making that a pick. That's a Pinnacle line. There you go. Boston team total over 4.5 minus 130. If Manaea gets hit hard like I expect he might, that will go over or close to it by the first 5 innings. And if not, of course, Boston can easily do that one late. Boston team total over 4.5 minus 130, and Boston minus 1 is also a lean. And the full game over on that one is also a lean because Erod could get hit, and Oakland has some bats as well. And that's just not a high line. I'm looking at this. It's 9.5 with an underdog line, and Heritage even has 9 minus 120, and Bookmaker has 9 and UWager has 9 minus 120. I'm not understanding that one at all. Oakland does have some nice bats, and Manaea is looking like it might be a down spot for him. Erod coming off a good start, but he has given up some runs himself. And let me just quit. Some of these Boston totals. I've been on the right. I don't know if you noticed this, Marty Ice, but Boston totals I've been on the right side of, and even some big line moves against me turned out to be right. Like the Chris Archer game, it was like I liked the over on that one, and wound up going down by a half run, went soaring over. So I feel like I really don't understand that one. You know what? I'll make it a pick. Over 9 minus 120. I'll make that one. Oakland and Boston over 9 minus 120, and it might even be better to take Pinnacle at 9.5 plus 118. Jesus, that is probably the line I should take. That half run is not worth 38 cents. That is that's how you do when you line shop. You're saying I'm going to get 38 cents for a half run, and that run is not worth that much. They're giving a lot more than that. Then again, if it lands on 9, I'll be kind of annoyed and pissed. All right, I'll take that one. Over, instead of 9 minus 120, I'll take the Pinnacle line, 9.5 plus 118. Oakland and Boston, over 9.5 plus 118. Let's see. And then Dylan Bundy and Biagini is an interesting game. Get to that in a second. And then the White Sox-KC game is also interesting. I was kind of leaning under in that one, except both starting pitchers are very, very vulnerable. So I'm thinking about the second half under in that one, despite the fact that the White Sox have a horrific bullpen, worst bullpen in the majors actually statistically for a long time. I'm still kind of leaning the second half under, although it is 3.5 plus 120. And in general, I was leaning under 10 that way, except it's Gaviglio against Covey. And if we remember, Covey was an auto fade for a while in the majors when he was up earlier, and I was auto fading him game in and game out. And Gaviglio is a guy who's coming off a good start, but in general is pretty vulnerable. So I'm leaning under on that one, and leaning the second half under. I wish I was getting 4, and I wish the starting pitchers weren't so vulnerable here. But those are 2 other leans. So let's recap the MLB card, and then we'll get to some comments. Definitely leaning full game under and second half under in KC White Sox. Let's see. Definitely leaning Cleveland minus 400, although the best line out there is at Pinnacle minus 389. Oakland Boston over 9.5 plus 118 is an official pick. And what was the other one I gave on that one? And the Boston team total over 4.5 minus 130 is an official pick. Those are 2 official picks there. Mets second half and the Mets as a big underdog are definitely leans. Minnesota first 5 innings team total over is an official pick. Cincinnati St. Louis under is an official pick, and that's it for right now. Just 4 official picks and a bunch of interesting situations. A bunch of interesting situations for sure. Let me check what the total is for that Cubs game that they put up. The total for the Cubs-Mets game is 8.5. Yeah. All right. That makes some sense. All right. So let's look at some comments here. Darryl Lyle's asking run line Cleveland. Yeah. I mean, if you yeah, sure. Why not? If you're going to bet Cleveland, it's probably, equal value taking them on the full game. I mean, on the money line, on the run line, I would probably take them at -1. I mean, you're going to be paying huge juice, or on the team total under for Detroit. Al Hard saying, I like them Mets today. Yeah, don't necessarily think they should be a favorite here, but plus 250, I'm really not seeing. Okay, let's see. Wow. Here we go. CC 924. I see value with Detroit today. Boyd has an ERA of 2.41 in 3 starts against Cleveland, and Kluber was smacked around in his last start against the Tigers. There you go. You might be right, Marty Ice.
I might be right.
Well, it might be a. I mean, look. Anytime you have a minus 400, the higher the lines go, the harder it is for that line to have value, right?
So today I'm fading the Dodgers, the Indians, and betting on the Mets.
Look, those are 3 massive underdogs.
That last one didn't feel good.
3 massive underdogs. If one of them wins, you're up for the day. If 2 of them win, you're way up for the day. If 3 of them win, you're a genius, right?
And if they all lose, that's exactly what I expected to happen, and I don't. No problem.
Yeah. Michael Maeda asking Pete, any thoughts on Cleveland over 2.5 first 5 innings? Well, it's interesting. Yeah, because Boyd, I would recommend staying off that only because Boyd has great potential. He was great in the minors. He has not gotten it done in the majors, and he's had many starts. He's had a big sample size. So it's a little bit uncertain what to expect from Boyd here. Could easily see him having a 5-inning start where he holds Cleveland down to 2 or fewer. So, no, I definitely do not like the Cleveland first 5 innings team total over at all. It could hit. Of course, it could hit. For my money, I'm not going to touch it. But you might be right. James Stacy saying Detroit team total 2.5! Exclamation point. James, are you saying that you like the over or the under on that one? What are you saying there? All right, let's see. Yeah, that's interesting. If you take Detroit, you take the Mets, and you take San Francisco, all you have to do is win one of them, and you're up a little bit.
Unless I get real smart and parlay them.
No,
I'm rich.
But yeah, okay. Hako Schofield saying Astros low-hanging fruit with Verlander. That is a tough game because the Angels are not a team that I'm too excited to bet against. Houston has a great bullpen, but the Angels have maybe a better one. Obviously, the Angels have bolstered their lineup, and Richards on the other side, we know the deal with him. When he's on his game, he is every bit as good as Verlander, probably better right now, but he is coming back from that injury, and the signs are that he's going to be as good as ever, but there's probably going to be an adjustment period. He's probably going to be on a limited pitch count. That game I am staying off of. I would not at all be surprised if the Angels win that one. We just saw the Angels fade out at Oakland, right? Now here they are going up against the Angels, who are clearly a better team than Oakland in all ways. So I'm staying off that one. What Verlander has done has been very impressive. that's just a game I'm staying off of. If anyone who bets Astros, Hako Schofield, I hope you cash, because I'm certainly not going to be on that game any which way. So I hope you cash on that one. But I'm off it. I'm off it. Okay. All right. Okay. Lou Skunt says, I have 2 locals, but they really bust my balls with lines. I would love to see that. They'd be like, Lou, you're getting 3.5. I want 4. Fuck you, you're getting 3.5. Go somewhere else, you don't like it. Lou Skunt, let's see. All right. Bud Nino says the Red Sox are 16-17 against left-handed starters. Yeah, I mean, I like the over in this one. I think that Manaea is in a vulnerable spot. So I think that Boston should hit him here. Manaea has been slumping a little bit, and my numbers indicate that it's a spot to fade him. Could be wrong though. Could easily be wrong though. Okay. Let's see. Other comment. Looking for other comments here. Mike Heap saying Red Sox pounded Manaea, giving up 11 runs over 44 at-bats. Current Sox batting .366 against Manaea. See, this is why our posters are so great, right? We have one guy giving a legitimately valuable piece of information about that the Sox don't have a great record against lefties, and then Mike Heap talks about their overall record against Manaea specifically. And both those pieces of information, very valuable, very important to keep in mind. And thanks to both of you. Yes, I agree with you, Mike Heath, that it is a spot to maybe think that to fade Manaea here. And I'm going to do that with both the over on the game and the Boston team total over. Again, Manaea has big upside. Could come in and have a shutout. He could throw a friggin' no-hitter. Who the hell knows? I've actually faded 2 guys this year. I faded 3 guys this year who threw a no-hitter, almost threw a no-hitter. When Edinson Volquez threw his no-hitter, I was against him.
Correct.
When I faded the game when Odorizzi against Bartolo Colon, and Odorizzi came in and had a no-hitter for like 6 innings. And then I also, Miranda for Seattle, in one of his most recent starts, I was big fading him, and he had one of those starts where he had 6 walks but also had a no-hitter. So,
well, didn't Colon also throw a complete game shutout at one point too?
Yes, but I've been excellent about not fading Colon when he's been good. I've had a great read, a perfect read on Colon, actually. Not perfect read, because there were a few times when I should have faded and when I didn't, but I've had a very good read on Bartolo Colon. But so the point is, yes, Manaea could throw a no-hitter here. Who the hell knows? But I'm on. Thanks for that information, Mike Keep, and I am on Boston to hit him a little bit. All right. Daryl Lyle says, this show makes my day at work. Thank you for that comment. Higher ups at SBR.
This show is our day at work.
Yes. Take note. Take note. Higher ups at SBR. Okay, let's see. Just looking at some other Mitchell Chagas saying, Pete, how about Texas today? Can't believe the home value there. Yeah, that's a weird game because for a couple reasons. First of all, Miguel Gonzalez, for an unknown reason, started to pitch very, very well in his last bunch of starts for the White Sox, and then Texas acquired him, and he had collapse written all over him coming to Texas. His first start was not good, and he's probably going to be vulnerable here. On the other side, the other Gonzalez for Seattle is a guy who I've been looking to fade in general, but his last appearance was a 4-inning shutout appearance where he struck 5 guys out. So he might come in and have a better start here. In general, yeah, I would be leaning Texas here. And more than that, I would be leaning a little bit with the Texas team total overs to hit Gonzalez, but I'm going to hold off on it for now. I'm not exactly sure what to expect from Seattle's Gonzalez because, again, he's a guy who I don't think is ready to get it done on the major league level as a starter, but his last relief appearance was pretty impressive and eye-opening. So I'm going to hold off on that game. It's an interesting one, definitely a strong lean towards Texas on their team total overs to hit Gonzalez, but I'm going to hold off on that one. It is a high total there in Texas. All right, let's see. Just looking for some comments here. Mike Heap saying Kershaw has a career 1.29 ERA at AT&T, his lowest ERA at any park with at least 3 starts. Good information there, Mike Heap, but those stats were produced when he did not have back issues. Now, if you told me right now, if a genie came down and said he definitely won't have back issues for this game, I would be on the Dodgers. I would think that those numbers are very telling, and it would be a great play. But if he has back issues, you take those numbers and you throw them out the window because he'll be a different pitcher if his back gives out. All right, let's see other comments here. Just looking at it. Mitchell Chagas says, I like that under. Lynn is solid, and since he bats usually sleep on the road. Yes, Lynn is solid, doesn't have great peripherals, and on the other side, you got this guy Stevenson. You got to hope his control issues don't pop up. So it could lose, but I like it, and I took it. All right, let's see. Just looking for some other comments here. Fade. There you go. James Stacy, fade Kluber. Hako Schofield, fade Kershaw. You guys might be right. You guys may be right. Looking for some other comments here. Hako Schofield, minus 400, stay away. Jason Grassi, hard to justify value at minus 400. Absolutely. Brick City Matthew, the line is crazy with minus 400. Absolutely. Okay, just scanning for comments here, seeing if anyone, let's see, let me see if I can find James Stacy's plays that he likes a lot in MLB today, because he started off the show saying that he sees a lot of plays that he likes. Have to bet against the Dodgers tonight, plus 200 equals win 1 and 3, you get money back. Yeah, James Stacy likes fading Clayton Kershaw on the Dodgers. That I can certainly understand. Where are James Stacy's other plays that he likes? He likes under Toronto, Baltimore, first 5. Bundy against Biagini. Yeah, that's not a bad play, actually, James Stacy. Bundy struggled in his last start, but he's getting extra rest here again, which is what turned him around recently. And Biagini, a big wild card, right? Very, very up and down. 2 starts ago, had a dominant start. We had 10 strikeouts. Last start got hit, and it's just a question of what do you get from Biagini. But you might be right. That's actually not a bad play there. Yes, Bundy getting longer rest. Biagini up and down. Yes, I like it. I like it. Nice eye. Good eye, James Stacy. The first 5 innings under in Toronto, Baltimore. I like it. I believe the line is 5. Let's see if there's anything else that James Stacy has decided to share with us. Kluber, 5.25 ERA against Detroit this year. Okay. All right. So let's wrap this up. Whiz likes the Mets first half, Detroit first half, San Francisco first half. I would take the full games on all those because, yeah. Corey Jones saying, where's the low-hanging fruit loops? Well, I guess low-hanging fruit. I don't know if it quite counts as low-hanging fruit because Wood could have a good start, but Wood is looking like an absolute auto fade right now. Doesn't have much going. The first 5 innings, team total is just 2.5 for Minnesota. So I would say that probably does count as low-hanging fruit. It's not quite as ripe and juicy as the other low-hanging fruits this year, but I will throw that one in there as an official low-hanging fruit play, not just an official play. The Minnesota first 5 innings, team total over 2.5, and I believe 143, and it's just a straight fade of Wood for San Diego. He is looking very, very iffy. Al Hard asking about Washington. That is also a tough one because, first of all, Atlanta has been sneaky good on the road this year in terms of ROI. Undervalued on the road, plus 8% ROI, and you are getting a big underdog line here. It's in the plus 150s, and Washington, of course, playing for a home field advantage, but they did clinch the NL East. Tehran up and down, but when he's good, he can match Gonzalez. So that one, I don't know. Look, Washington might win. There might be reasons to believe that they're a good bet at minus 170. My sense on that one is that the side with value is Atlanta. Maybe a lean with Atlanta on the second half as well. Yes, Drew Y says Pistol I cashed in SF moneyline parlayed with SF over. Great job, Drew Y. You like the Dodgers over 6.5 today? Seems too easy. Yes. I do like the over 6.5. I don't think it's too easy, though, because you're basically assuming that Kershaw isn't going to come in and be lights out, which obviously would not be a surprise at all. So that's a judgment call. The total in the Dodgers game today is basically a judgment call on what you think you're going to get from Kershaw. If you think Kershaw is going to even come in and be mediocre, give up 2 or 3 runs, which I think is probably somewhat likely, then yes, the over is a great play because Cueto should be good, but not lights out. But if Kershaw comes in and throws 8 innings, gives up 1 run, and has 12 strikeouts, now you're not looking so great with your over 6.5. And if that happens, that wouldn't be a shock at all. So, and yeah, this is not the first time Kershaw's had an off start this year. It's just that it's the first time he's had an off start coming back from the DL with a back issue. So, but yeah, I would agree with you, Drew Y. I would agree with the over 6.5. Definitely would disagree, though, that it, quote unquote, seems too easy. It's just a judgment call on Kershaw. All right. Okay. All right. So let's that just about wraps it up. Let me just review the card here again. WNBA, I think my top play of the day would be the over 159 in Washington, Minnesota. got to be leaning Phoenix +9, although they could easily lose by double digits. But Brittany Griner, a beast in top form, and she should be able to carry them at least to not get blown out. And again, LA, a strong undertrender in general at home, but playoffs can change those kinds of regular season totals trends around. So, small lean to the under, but there's no way I'm going to bet that. But yeah, got to assume that Phoenix will be able to hang around with Griner. Top play of the day would be the over in the Minnesota game. All right, so let's get to it. MLB, White Sox and KC. I really want to take the second half under there, 3.5, but let me just check one quick thing. And I like the under in that one in general. It's just those starting pitchers are so iffy. But you know what? I will give it. I'll give the second half under 3.5, White Sox KC +120. Second half under 3.5 +120. That's an official pick. That's an official pick. Atlanta and Washington have to be leaning Atlanta there, even though even though Washington is who they are. Again, Atlanta has been notably undervalued on the road, +8% ROI overall on the year, and I would have to be leading Atlanta there, but I'm going to hold off on that one as a pick. Not going to give it as a pick. Miami, Philly, very interesting. Philly is seeing Peters for the second time. His first start against them was excellent. The second start was a little bit more down to earth, so I'm passing on that one. Baltimore and Toronto, Bundy against Biagini. Yes, James Stacey likes the first 5 innings under, and I would agree with that one. That you could almost convince me to make a play on that one. The full game under is 9, which is very tempting, and the first 5 innings under is where is it? What the hell's the first 5 innings under for that one is 5. Yeah, I think James Stacey has a nice eye there. I'm going to hold off on it because Bundy did get hit in his last start, and Biagini also got crushed in his last start. Both these guys could get hit, but it's a nice eye. I'm going to hold off on that one. Detroit and Cleveland, pass. No play.
Go Tigers.
No play. To anyone who bets Detroit, I hope you cash. To anyone who bets Cleveland on the run line, I hope you cash. Pass for me. Oakland and Boston. Boston, team total over 4.5 is a play, and the full game over 9.5 +118 is definitely a play. Yankees, Tampa Bay being played in a Citi Field is an interesting game, but that's a pass for me. Snell has been better recently, but could regress. And Sonny Gray, Marty Ice, you follow the Yankees pretty closely. Sonny Gray, not bad, right?
Well, yeah, of course not.
Yeah,
I mean,
not bad.
He's a very good pitcher. Yeah. Decided to not pitch very well recently.
Yeah.
But I thought he could use a change of scenery at Oakland. It seems to have been a little bit at least.
Yankees are a little bit of a big favorite, though, at -145, so can't take them there. But yeah. Pitt, Minnesota, pass. Seattle, Texas, that's got to be a pass for me there. Mets and the Cubs, Jesus, that is just – the Cubs are just overvalued at home. They just are. They're just an overvalued team. Quintana is good. His last start was good. But Gesellman can be good, too, and that's just too much. That's just too high of a line there. The Mets at +255. Wow, that is tempting. Should I take a shot with that, Marty S? What do you think? Any thoughts? What do you think?
Sorry, what was that?
The Mets at +255. Or I could take the second half at +140.
I can't support the Mets in any facet of life, whether it be fandom or betting.
All right, I will hold off on that one, but that is real effing tempting to take a shot with the Mets there at +255. That is real tempting. Gesellman, it's all about what you're going to get from Gesellman. No, you know what? I will take it. +255. It's just too high. The line is just too high. For once in my life, I'm going to have a little bit. For once in this 15-minute period of my life.
For once in your life, bet against the Dodgers.
Yeah, for once in my life, goddammit, bet against the Dodgers. We'll get to that. That's still on the docket. I am throwing that one on there. Official play +255 at the Greek and sportsbetting.ag and BetDSI. I'm going to take it. It's just too high. If it loses, fine, I'll eat it. Minnesota first 5 innings, team total over 2.5 is a pick and also counts as a low-hanging fruit play of the day. Cincinnati, St. Louis under, liking that one, a solid play. Colorado, Arizona, I'm passing on. Houston, LA Angels, definitely passing on. And the Dodgers, San Francisco, very tempting to take the over 6.5 there, but I'm going to hold off on that one. San Francisco is probably the play here, almost for sure. It's a big line, +220, +236 you could get at BetOnline and sportsbetting.ag. But I'm going to hold off on that one. I got to hold off on that one. I have to assume that if, oh, God, it is really a good bet, I'm going to hold off on it. You know why? Because I don't want to jinx anyone who's been riding this train and just cashing with it. Because I know if I take San Francisco here, the Dodgers will win. So that's it. There you go. Okay. Baby LP says Dodgers will turn around eventually. It's a matter of time. Yes. Doesn't feel like tonight's the night though, with Kershaw coming off a back injury and a bad start. But okay, so that's it. Let me just quickly review all the official picks that I have made. How many are there? Let's see. Where are they? White Sox KC second half under. Boston team total over, and Boston Oakland over. Mets, I wound up taking it. Minnesota first 5 innings, team total over. Cincinnati St. Louis under. So 6 solid picks there, and hopefully I will have a profitable day. Great analysis, everyone. Great comments in the comments section, shedding light on some of these lines. Very interesting stuff. We shall see if the Dodgers-San Francisco game winds up being a good bet on the over 6.5, how Kershaw does, and if the Dodgers once again lose as a massive favorite for the 16th time in a row. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll be back tomorrow for the Wednesday card.